Hello everybody. I received my package in the mail from Starlink, and this video is about my installation. So I'm pretty excited about Starlink and trying it out. As a lot of people who live in a rural location, it can be quite challenging to find good service. I've tried a number of different things. There's no AT&T or Verizon cable that actually comes out where I live, and to make things even more challenging, the elevation is as much as 100 feet lower than the surrounding areas. So even though there are towers that are around here that provide internet, it has been difficult. This is what I'm currently using, and like I said, this company was willing to come out if I would buy this 50-foot pole and all the guy wires and anchors that come along with this. And I actually had to dig the trench here, lay all the line, and I actually had to put the pole in cement so that it wouldn't move, and they had to come out and inspect that. So it's been a lot of challenge, but they've at least been willing to do that. And this service works actually quite well. Upload speeds, however, are dismal to say the least, and so that has been very difficult for my wife, who is a graphic artist and has to upload work that she does remotely. So I'm hoping that by installing Starlink, I'll get better service, not just download, but upload speed too. So I'm excited to do this, and I hope to share with the rest of you guys what my experience is in installing Starlink. I'm here on my trailer home roof, and it has sort of a slant. I'll switch it around here so you can see that there is a slant here on each side, and so I'm having to put some boards down here on each side to basically bring this up a level. And then, so what I've done so far is I've gone ahead and put these on. I just pre-drilled holes, and I made sure that, of course, they were in the channels here where these other bolts are. So I made sure that I pre-drilled these holes. I made the mistake of not doing that, as you can tell right here previously, and of course it split. So I ended up having to pre-drill these other holes. And then the other thing I did is, after I got these on, then I actually caulked, because if you guys know, you put a hole through this, you have leaking. So I was able to put caulking on all sides here, on this one and then the other one here. Next thing I'll do is I'm going to fasten these bigger boards on top of this now, and I'll do that with some screws, and then I have some lag bolts that I'll actually put through. So this will essentially sit here on each one of these. Okay, so I've just got through putting this second board on right here, and it's now set on top of the other board, and I'm getting ready to do this one here. The first board, I actually used a longer screw. I used I think this is like a 2, maybe 3-inch screw, so I used that to go through this initial board, and I did hit a 2x4 underneath that, or some type of framing underneath there, so that's nice and secure. But for these second boards, I don't want to go all the way through, so I'm just going to use like a 1-inch here. So I'll put these in. I think I only brought up 4, but I'm going to end up going down and getting at least 4 more to make sure this is nice and fastened down before I put the lag screws into the frame here, and I'll be showing that in a minute. Okay, so I've gotten the boards put down and fastened really well, and now I'm going to put this frame on. And one of the things you'll want to make sure you do is to actually when it comes assembled in the box, the actual dish this is connected to the dish, and you'll want to go ahead and pull this out of the dish and thread it through the outside to your outside wall and pull it up here so that you can go ahead and pull it through here before you actually. I think I could probably do it without pulling it through before I fasten it, but I was just concerned, so I wanted to make sure that I went ahead and pulled it through here before I actually fasten this frame onto the stand onto this frame. So just something to think about. Okay, so I'm getting ready to put the stand and connect it. I've pre-drilled all the holes here for each one of these. It's always a good idea, and of course I pre-drilled through both boards here just to make sure that I didn't split them when I'm putting this lag bolt in, because it's actually quite large. So I wanted to make sure I had some extra strength there, but I did pre-drill the hole with a drill bit that was, I'm not sure what size that was now, but let's see here, looks like 3/16. So pre-drilled that. I'm getting ready to fasten these now to the frame. Okay, so I've gotten all four lag screws in there. Now these were, I think, 1 inch. I will say I may end up replacing these with a 1.25 or a 1.5 maybe. I think this will work, but I think it could actually be a little longer. Yeah, I mean, so far so good. It's very sturdy. It's not moving at all, and seems like that is going to be okay. So I came out with the actual dish part of it, ready to do the installation and to hook up this cable here. And I noticed that I had put this on the wrong way. So instead of facing that way, which is the way I wanted to face it, because that's the way that I used the Starlink app to find the right location. And so what I want is for it to essentially set up like this, and the notch here, you can see that has to line up with this notch here, and it was essentially on the other side, so I had to turn the whole stand around. So just a note to you guys, whoever's doing this, that you'll have to make sure that you have it in the right orientation based on the app that you use. Okay, so I've got it set up, and I put the connection in the back there. Of course, you can't see it now. Essentially, this cable goes up and underneath here, and there's a slot that it goes into. If you can see it right here, it slides up into there. So we're set up. Hopefully, we'll be able to go use the Starlink app now and get this thing aligned and see what kind of performance we get. Okay, so I ran the Starlink app one more time. I had to do that and to go through the setup to find the location, and the next step now is to actually plug it in. So I'm going to do that now. All right, I've plugged it in. I don't see any lights yet. Not sure what's going on.
So I thought I'd stop here and just explain a couple of items. One is you saw me plug the router in, and when I did, I was expecting lights to sort of come on the front of that router. There are no lights. There's no green lights, there's no red lights, there's nothing. So after I sort of figured this out, I went back to the mobile application and I continued through the next steps there, which the next step is to actually create a Wi-Fi name and a password. Again, this sort of threw me off. I was expecting the password and Wi-Fi name to already sort of be set up. In fact, that's not the case. So after looking around in the box and on the bottom of the router, I discovered that, yeah, you just create a name and a password. Pretty simple. After you click next, during this process, then the Starlink goes through a reboot process. And during that, it does some form of reorientation. I know this because I went back up, and I'll show this after this part of the video, how I know that it reoriented. But I didn't actually show the mobile application here or any screens. I felt like that was really kind of redundant. Starlink's app's actually done quite well, and it's very simple to follow. It's not very complicated. Again, I got confused at a couple of places, but generally I felt like that is self-explanatory.
Remember, I was just telling you that I actually the frame around here because I wanted the dish to actually be pointing in the direction that I set up my using the app. And lo and behold, after I've set it up, I came back up here on the roof after it's connected, and it's turned around in the opposite direction. So the bottom line is I didn't actually need to switch the frame around. I'm sure some of you guys are thinking to yourself, no duh. And look at that. You can see it. It's actually adjusting as we speak. This is so cool. So I've been able to connect it and actually use it. It's actually pretty good so far. I'll keep you updated on how it's working over the long term.